So, for my in-depth site evaluation, I chose the website carnivoremd.com. This website is made by Paul Saladino, and he is an MD. He had, let's see, right here. If you go, this is a beautiful picture of him. You can tell he's very, very attractive, a very muscular man. Looks like a healthy guy. So his information may be good. You would want to look like this guy, you know. And so he is a leading authority on the science and application of the carnivore diet. I found this website from, I basically was going through Google and typed in the carnivore diet and I found Paul Saladino. I've seen this website and I recognize the name. I've seen his podcast before. And basically, he used the diet to help hundreds of patients who were told that their conditions were untreatable, such as reversing autoimmunity, chronic inflammation, and mental health issues. And I guess he's got some contact options for Facebook, Twitter, Instagram. I've heard of stories of people messaging him and him responding and talking to people, so I guess that would be a way of contacting him. And so that was for who and for what. This article says it is at the top here. It says it is evidence based, and so most likely there's facts rather than opinions going on in this article. Also, from what I read, it seemed like he was citing some sources giving reliable information, and but one thing I would say is one negative maybe is that he is selling a book, and here we click on my book and he has the book #1 release in weight loss diets. Very interesting. The carnivore code. So is clearly this guy is a carnivore, so maybe his information may be skewed. He might try to persuade people to buy his book, read more, to get people to become a carnivore. And he also has a shop, and his shop sells shirts. When I read through, I didn't see him saying anything about buying his shirt. So he's got it there, but we gotta make money somehow, I guess. And he doesn't really mention his book either. And from what I read from this article right here, is basically this article is just the carnivore diet start here. The introduction to the diet. It's got things like what is the carnivore diet? Is it safe? Health benefits? What you can eat? How much to eat? He gives some scientific evidence. What kind of results people get, and then he's got a little discussion here, some comments. He's responding here to someone. You know how it is, and so the information present is typically not something you would hear. I would say normally, many say you can't survive on just meat, and you need fruits and vegetables. So this is probably typically something that you wouldn't really normally read about. He's basically saying that eating all meat is healthy, and all foods from animals, and for scientific evidence, he has a link to different websites to be able to such as MeatRx. I believe this link right here is to MeatRx. MeatRx is another website I'm familiar with. It is ran by Dr. Sean Baker, who's another leading expert in the carnivore diet, and they have many success stories. You can find many case reports, published case reports on the diet. and all relating to the carnivore diet and just overall meat in general, because many people, you would normally hear that red meat and meat leads to high cholesterol and stuff, and these people are kind of such as Paul Saladino here are kind of contradicting that. And so for when August 5th 2019, that is when Paul wrote this article here, and he includes links to websites that have published research, like I said before, MeatRx. His site is more of an introduction to the diet, but anything he talks about, he supports with a link to be able to find out yourself if what he is saying is true. And so he brings. So he let's go. Yeah, we can move on to why. He wants to. I'd say he wants to educate people about the diet. He believes. That what is he? Nah, he doesn't expect everyone to convert to the diet. Rather, informs people on the issues of insulin resistance as an issue for heart disease. He states that over here the scientific evidence. Yeah, he isn't really pushing to sell anything. He says, but like he doesn't really mention. He doesn't mention his book. Maybe he mentions it once at the top. If you want to learn more, he says you can basically buy my book, And he says multiple times in the article to check out his podcast where he goes into more detail on topics. And for how I would say I was able to find the info I was looking for. He clearly targeted the audience of people who are interested in the carnivore diet and gave a brief description, provided resources to find out more. So here he talks about you. You can find my interviews with cardiologists here. You click on that, and he's got a podcast here. What to do with high LDL on keto. So he talks about LDL and how he doesn't believe that it is an issue, and anything that you want to find out more, you can on based on what he has here. I would, in my opinion, so far, I believe this website is pretty reliable. And some red flags, and I would say some red flags would be the fact that he is selling a book. He wants people to become a carnivore. He wants people to buy his book. He wants to be obviously right about this information, since this is what he studies and puts all his time into. There have been some dramatic results, such as his patients. If you go on to MeatRx, you can find many success stories that he shows a link to, and you can see photos of people losing weight and things like that here. So maybe these are some dramatic results, I guess you could say. He references and mentions cardiologists he interviewed, which is I'd say a good thing in his pod. But he's also more along the lines supporting his podcast, wants people to watch it, which is So he wants to have more people watch his podcast, make more money, But overall, I would say this is a reliable website if you're trying to find out more about the carnivore diet, rather than find out the negatives. I believe he probably gives more positives than negatives from what I read. If I were to want to find some things such as why the carnivore diet is unhealthy, I might want to look somewhere else. If you click on podcasts here, there was one podcast that I found before this one right here, There was debunking the game changers. That was a good podcast I watched personally. Um, and yeah, that's a good. He has a that's a good of example of a argument. He argued. I don't know. I don't think it's him in the podcast, but it is a link to his podcast with Joe Rogan, and they discuss how the game change. They talk actually to the man who created the movie, the Game Changers, and they discuss many facts that were not true in the movie, and it's a very interesting podcast. And it's good that he linked that. I was impressed that he put that in there. And that is it. Overall, I would say this is a reliable source. Like I said before, looking somewhere else for information if you would want to find some negatives, but for positives, and if you're just looking to find out what this carnivore diet is, because many people don't know, this is a great source. So thank you. That is all.